Hello. Alexa Rivera here from Tech Inspected, doing a quick video. Tech Inspected News is what I'll call it. Huawei in the Philippines has just launched their new Huawei Vision S TV line. It's composed of a 55-inch and a 65-inch. The 55-inch is about 700 US dollars, about 33,000 pesos if I'm not mistaken, and the 65-inch is priced at 50,000 pesos, or about 1,000 US dollars. The main selling point that Huawei gives this, guys, is it's got 4K resolution and 120 hertz. Now, there's a caveat there, which I will talk about later. It also has a webcam, which is kind of crazy. But I'll talk about that later. It has 40 watts of speakers, which is pretty good, I have to admit. It's got two regular full frequency speakers and two tweeters that are all 10 watts. And that's about it. It's going to be available, I believe you can pre order May 20th. Now, let's talk about the specs and features here. Like I said, it has a webcam on top. It's got super small bezels. Huawei is very good at design, so we can't complain about design at all. It's running on Harmony OS, which is Huawei's little fork of Android. 120 hertz refresh rate, and just about your typical Huawei stuff. Now, here's some things to question about this device. Okay, first of all, it's not running Android TV. Okay, so it's running Harmony OS, which limits its application capabilities. You cannot install your typical Android stuff. It has app gallery, Huawei's app gallery, which is okay, but not as super complete. Now, the thing you can do with TVs is you can plug in different things. You can plug in an Android TV box through the HDMI and just control everything from there and ignore the Harmony OS on the TV. You can do that. But as far as the built-in features go, it's gonna run with Harmony OS. Now, this makes me question the Me Time video call that they're advertising here, because I don't think it works on other things like Zoom, Skype, other things. I don't know. They have to tell me how this works, because the actual camera has pogo pins instead of a USB port. That means it's only compatible with the TV. You cannot plug it into your computer. And I don't think this OS, this Harmony OS, will let you use that camera on other applications necessarily. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's a risk you have to take when you're buying this kind of stuff. And I did watch a couple of YouTube videos, and they did not talk about this so well. And they did was talk about the me time video call from Huawei. So that's questionable at best. It's got 4K resolution, 3840 by 2160. Why? Because it's 16 by 9, not DCI-P3. Not DCI resolution. 120 hertz, which is good, and then 92% DCI-P3, which is pretty good color gamut. But both of them only have 350 nits brightness, which is kind of low. I don't remember having a device that has 350 nits anymore. Most of my devices have at least 400 nits. 350 nits is not a lot, but it's passable as a TV. As long as you cover all your windows, you'll be okay. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it could be better. Plus, it cannot go into HDR, which is a bit absurd, because a lot of TVs in the 25,000 peso up, by basically $500 up range, would have HDR. Now, you could say that you have extra value here because you do have the webcam, you have a Bluetooth enabled remote control with voice capability. That voice assistant is not Google Assistant. It's Celia. I think it's what they call it, Celia, which I don't know how it's going to work with your typical Netflix and Spotify and stuff like that. This just unfortunately makes it a little bit more limited because of the Harmony OS. Got 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, which is pretty standard. 40-watt speakers, and then the detachable camera. The video call is up to 1080p. 1080p is perfectly fine. Now, this is the most worrying here. HDMI 2.0 times 3, AV in times 1. That's composite cable, which is old school 480p. USB 3.0 times one, just one, not even two. SPDIF for optical cables, pretty good. Now, that is a bit limited in terms of connectivity. What is the most limited here is the HDMI capabilities. It's only going up to HDMI 2.0, which means you cannot go 4K 120 hertz into it. It only does 4K 120 hertz as interpolation. So it does have MEMC, which is motion interpolation, something, something, whatever, which is good. But I don't like motion interpolation in my movies. I want 120 hertz gaming. PS5 and Xbox One X or whatever kind of, or even your PC will do 4K 120 hertz if you have the equipment for it. But it needs HDMI 2.1. HDMI 2.0 can only do 4K 60 hertz. Therefore, you cannot game at 4K 120 on this guy, which is a bit of a bummer because it's already doing 120 hertz on the display, but they just did not put in a HDMI 2.1 on it, meaning you cannot input 4K 120, so you can play 4K 120, which is sort of the holy grail for PC gamers here. That if you could have done that, imagine a 33,000 peso TV with 120 hertz refresh rate in 4K. Now, HDMI 2.0 can do like 1080p, 120 hertz, if the software of the TV supports it. So there is still hope for this, but definitely not 4K 120 hertz, which is why I was originally interested in this TV in the first place. Was I wanted to look into this as a gaming TV for 4K 120 hertz for example PS5, because PS5 supports 4K 120 hertz. But yeah, it's gotta be sad to not get that. As it is, this seems like a pretty decent 4K TV at 120 hertz with motion interpolation, which I don't use. B, pretty decent sound, pretty decent design, limited camera use because you can't use it as USB. It only seems to work on specific apps made by Huawei. I don't know how many external third-party apps will support that camera capability. Keep in mind, this is running on Harmony OS, which is not Android OS or anything. It's not even Android TV, which is even limited compared to regular Android. You have a smaller app ecosystem with the app gallery, right? And I guess that's about it. It's a bit limited as a TV, if you ask me. You can still plug in an HDMI cable into it and run Android boxes, run your PS5. It won't be HDMI. It won't be HDMI 2.1 4K 120, but it will run at 4K 60. So this ain't it, chief, unfortunately, for us gamers who are looking for 4K 120, an affordable 4K 120 monitor or TV. But for people looking into TVs, oh, by the way, you can mirror your Huawei devices into it, but I don't think you can mirror regular Android devices into it, or probably just your basic mirroring. But their advanced mirroring features, the ones that are built into the system on Harmony OS, will more support Huawei devices compared to your typical Android devices. So it's a little limited in my opinion. And I just was a little bit disappointed because I was hoping for a gaming TV that goes 4K 120, and it's going to be impossible with HDMI 2.0. So there you have it. Hope that helps you out in sort of figuring out what I think about the Huawei Vision. As I know, some people are going to complain that I'm reviewing something that I do not have in my possession, but I am an AV enthusiast, and this stuff just kind of makes me sad because I was ready to buy one too. So there you go, Alex from Tech Inspected. That has been Tech Inspected News, and we've extended the video quite a bit. LCS, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. See you guys next time. Bye bye.